Hi guys, welcome you all for Learnomanics. So as a part of case study based question series, so this is the second question from chapter 12. Let's move on to the question. So here there are two paragraphs given in a circuit diagram. So let's crack down the two paragraphs. What's the information given there? Let's try to find it out, and then we'll move on to the 5 questions that has been asked followedly, right? So then here Ohm's law gives a relationship between the current through the conductor with the potential difference across it, provided the physical quantities and the temperature remains constant. Then the electric current flowing in the circuit can be measured by the ammeter. The potential difference is measured by the voltmeter connecting parallel to the battery. Then the resistance can reduce the current in the circuit. A variable resistor or rheostat is used to vary current in the circuit. And then a circuit diagram was given. So obviously this is the circuit diagram for verification of Ohm's law, right guys? So with the information and the circuit diagram, we can obviously know that the information given here is purely about Ohm's law. So that means the next 5 questions is going to be surely about Ohm's law. So where Ohm's law states that V is equal to IR, right? Alright guys, as per Ohm's law, we got the thing as V is proportional to I, and in order to remove this proportionality constant, we can introduce a variable, and that variable is nothing but the resistance. So the equation will be changing as V is equal to IR, and R is nothing but the resistance, and the resistance will be equal to rho L by A. Rho is nothing but the resistivity, and L is the length of the conductor, and A is the area of the conductor. Then let's move to the question. So here the first question is, which graph is corresponding to the ohmic conductor? So here they are given 4 graphs. Out of these 4 graphs we need to pick an answer. So we obviously go for the C option. Sir, why you are going for C option? In the sense, then here there is a directly proportional relation. Directly proportional relation in the sense, if one variable increases, other variable must also increase, but there must be a linear relationship in the increment or else decrement, right? So here when we look at the other 3 graphs, here the V increases, I also increases, but after a certain value I is not at all increasing, it is getting a constant value. Then here if you look at the graph, V increases, yes, obviously I also increases, but here there are 2 values for I for the single value of V itself. See, if we consider this value, then here is one value and here is one value, that means 2 values for I, so this graph is not suitable. When you look at this fourth graph, V increases, I also increases, but after a certain value, after reaching the height I, then it is getting decreased, so this graph is also not suitable for the reason V is proportional to I. Then the third graph will be suitable. Guys, a small trick is a directly proportional graph will be always a straight line from the origin, and the inversely proportional graph is like looking like an hyperbola or is looking like C, right? So keep it in this mind. So alright guys, let's go for the next question. So which of the following has the smallest resistivity? So the option is silver, nickel, iron and copper. So in order to know about the resistivity values, we have it in our page number 2207 in our NCERT textbook science grade 10, right? So in that they are given the values of resistivity of different metals. So in that we will look at that, we will get these values. Silver has 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter, because SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter, right? So then nickel has an resistivity of 6.84 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meters, iron having a resistivity of 10 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meters, and copper having a resistivity of 1.62 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meters. That means we need to keep with all these values in mind. Means keeping all these values in mind from the table will be quite tough, but at least we need to know which will having the highest and least resistivity values. So guys, by looking these things we can get it, the option is A, right? But most probably everyone will think of copper, but copper is a wrong answer and silver is the correct answer, right? Alright guys, the next question, what is the value of resistance at V equals 10 volts, right? So here V value is given in the y axis and I value is given in the x axis. Most probably V value will be always in the x axis. Okay, irrespective of the axis, the graph will be a straight line because V is proportional to I as per the Ohm's law, right? So here V value is given in the y axis. Okay, we will look at where is the 10 volts. So here is it 10 volts. When you look at the straight line here, it belongs to the I value, that is 5, right? So here we are asked to find resistance. So as per Ohm's law, V equals I into R. Here I was asked to find resistance, so let me change the formula. R is equal to V divided by I, and V value is known, that is 10, and I value corresponding I value for V equal to 10 in the sense we can put a straight line and we can see it. So here it is 5, right? So that means it is 10 divided by 5. so we can cancel it, so the answer is 2. That means R equals 2 ohms. So the given option is A option is correct. Alright guys, next question. A, B, C, D are different wires. All wires are of same length and thickness. Which of the following has the higher resistivity? Guys, all the wires of different materials, right? So here the given information is all the wires are made of different materials, but they have same length and thickness. That means their resistivity will differ. We need to find which material has most resistivity. Guys, resistivity, the length, area, all the things which depends on the resistance, right? So all the things are determining something called as resistance, where we can write resistance R, just a minute, R equals rho L by A, right? So here L is constant, A is constant, they are given that, then the resistivity will differ and this value will make changes in this graph, right? So when you look at the graph here, the 4 graphs is given for 4 different wires, A, B, C and D. So let me choose a reference point here. So guys, when we look at the graph, the V value is keep on increasing in this direction and I value is keep on increasing in this direction, right? So let me fix a reference point here, and at this reference point let me consider the value of V is 1 volt, just for an assumption purpose, right? And let me choose another point here and let me choose this point as 2 volt. So just for analyzing the graph, I'm just fixing the points, it's not really there, right? So then let me analyze this values here. Guys, when we look at this A graph, so here 1 volt, there is small increment in current, and if I look at it for the 2 volt value, then there is slight increase in the current value. Guys, slight increase in current value means it may have some high resistance, right? Even though the voltage is getting increased, the current is not at all getting increased as such. So that means this is because of the reason resistance, right? So then when we look at the B graph, for 1 volt the graph is here, and then for the 2 volt the graph gone to this much, right? So that means there is a higher increase in current compared to the A material. Then if you look at it C, for 1 volt it's the current will be here, and then if you look at it for 2 volt the current has increased such a high value, then the C value will be having somewhat less resistance compared to B and A. Then if you look at it D, for 1 volt itself the current value is reaching the maximum, and then 2 volt I didn't have a space, I need to draw the graph, extend it up to this much, and then only I can get the answer. That means for the 2 volt the current value got exceeded all the things compared to here. So that means D has very least resistance, so obviously the answer will be A, then the option will be C. Guys, let's move to the last question. Out of the 2 wires X and Y of same material and cross-sectional area, that means guys, here they are given same material, that means the resistivity value, rho value will be same between the 2 wires X and Y, and cross-sectional area is also same, that means A value is also constant between these 2 wires, right? So then which is correct about the resistance, right? So here the picturization of X and Y wires has been given. By looking at itself we can analyze that the X has a smaller length and Y has the higher length, right? So that means we have 4 options to choose. So before going to these 4 options, let us think about some ideas. Here R is equal to rho L by A, so this is the formula for resistance. Here they said that resistivity rho is constant and area is a constant value between these 2 wires, and only variable thing is length. Here for X the length is L, and for the wire Y the length is 2L. So let us think about the relation between area, the resistance and the length. So here the length is in the numerator, that means resistance is directly proportional to the length. So that means one variable increases, the another variable also increase. If one decreases, other variable also must decrease. So that means higher the length, higher will be the resistance. So by keeping this in mind, when we look at this 2 picture, so which is having higher length, Y material is having higher length, that means Ry will be greater than Rx. That's the correct answer. Then with respect to that, then C option will be the correct answer. So guys, when you like the video, subscribe it, and the question number 1, the link I have provided in the description, go through that too and follow the Learnomanics channel, right? Thank you guys.